who are so happy going around begging. We are the only people in the world, my brother, my sister, who have brains yet we don't have sense. My brother, my sister, let me make this clearer. Listen, now the Supreme Court is only interpreting the law. Parliament should have done due diligence to this work. And when I say that some people don't understand, hear me now. Our parliamentarians are paid using the taxpayers' money. They are supposed to represent the people and not political parties. They are supposed to represent the constituents in their constituencies. They are supposed to represent the people and not their political parties. So if Parliament goes in there and Parliament is responsible for making laws, the police is responsible alongside the courts to uphold these laws and to make sure that these laws are implemented correctly. Punishment is meted out to people who break the law. It's the work of the police and, of course, the judiciary. My brother, my sister. Now, if Parliament goes to Parliament and enacts a law, and it does not take due diligence to make sure that the law is properly passed, and it gets to the Supreme Court for debate, and the Supreme Court comes out to say, listen, we don't have any problem with marijuana cultivation in this country. We do not have any problem with the cultivation of marijuana for industrial and medicinal use. Our only problem is that due diligence was not done in Parliament before it was passed. Do I blame the Supreme Court? Or I have to blame the MPs who did not do their work right? Common sense. Now the Supreme Court is only there to look at the law. Now the Supreme Court is not dealing with morals, laws in general, and the law courts do not deal with morals. They only deal with what? The law. That is why some people say the law is an ass, because the law does not look at morals. It's not about morality. It's all about the legality and illegality of the issue. Can we go deeper? Hear me now, my brother. Now, I am heartbroken. Parliament might have meant well, coming out to say, listen, marijuana should be cultivated. This type of marijuana can be cultivated for medicinal and industrial use. We all applauded it. We all jumped. We all were so excited. All of a sudden, we hit the brick wall. The Supreme Court said, Parliament has not done due diligence. In other words, Parliament has mocked itself by sitting down to propound a certain law, knowing very well that it did not go through the right channel. It means channels must be respected. And it also goes on to tell us that Parliament has taken the people for a ride. How many people understand this? How many people understand this? Now the bigger picture is this. 4 out of the 9 judges agreed that, listen, despite all the mistakes, marijuana is still very important. We need it, especially at a time that we are running left, right, and center, begging countries that have properly legalized their marijuana. And we are still here looking at colonial laws. Judges are still wearing cat hair on their hair, looking like undertakers, ready to bury the next corpse. My brother, my sister, it hurts me that we still have this colonial mind. Now, first and foremost, let us look at why marijuana was even made illegal. Can I take you to 1937? Now, in 1937, exactly 20 years before this beautiful country, Ghana, became independent, they realized that Caribbean countries were making so much money from out of marijuana. So what did they do? They decided to clamp down on the economic power of the Caribbean. They made it illegal. We remember J.W. Hoover of the CIA, my brother, my sister, coming in strongly against marijuana. We all remember other people in the interest of the American CIA and the FBI. They came together to cripple marijuana production in the Caribbean countries. Why the Caribbean countries? Because marijuana thrived and is still thriving in those countries and does not necessarily thrive naturally in America. So they realized that if they allow the Caribbean countries to produce marijuana, they will become economically independent. And because they want the loins of Africa and the rest of the world to be tied around theirs for control, my brother, my sister, they would always make sure that they deny you of what is rightfully yours. Can I go deeper? Hear me now. Apart from trying to cripple the Caribbean nations and black people from becoming financially independent, they also read racist underpinnings into the marijuana thing. Listen, man. What did they say? Oh, when American white women use marijuana, they become very horny and they are always looking for black people to sleep with them. Can you believe this nauseous explanation? Can you believe this? Does it not sound like an Anansi story? But it is true. Oh, when white American women use marijuana, they become horny. They don't want any other person to sleep with them but black people. And severally black people have slept with these girls. And for that matter, marijuana is illegal on racist grounds. My brother, can you believe that 20 years after we had our independence, in 1957, after this dirty illegalization thing was passed, we still went ahead all these years, my brother, my sister, calling this thing illegal. Yet we are proud to go to the country that have legalized it, to beg them to give us some of their marijuana money. Are we not idiots? He's only an idiot who is sitting on money, yet goes out there begging for money. He's only an idiot, my brother, my sister, who has it all, yet he has nothing, running after things. My brother, my sister, what we say, chasing the wind. It hurts me, my brother. Listen, for how long can we continue to be so blessed, yet so very poor? For how long can we continue playing the game so dumb? Parliament has let us down. Parliament has let us down. It is your work. You are supposed to be professionals. It's like you give me a dot check. You know what it means to say dot check? D-U-B. You give me a check. You intentionally decided not to date it properly. You intentionally decided not to endorse it. And then you give it to me, knowing very well that the bank is going to return me. And then you sit back and smile. And then when I return with the check, you smile in your heart. But outwardly, you say, but I gave you the check. I meant good. You should have had it. No, you didn't mean good. You made a law that you knew was not properly done. Due diligence was not done. You have let us down. I don't smoke marijuana. I have never used marijuana in terms of ingesting it. But I wear jeans, trousers made out of marijuana. Some people think marijuana is for smoking alone. By now, some people are speaking in tongues, cursing me. Die, 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 die. This guy, die, 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 die. They are those who are going to die because they are ignorant. Marijuana is not for smoking alone. Marijuana is not for injection. And what went to the Supreme Court was all about medicinal use and industrial use. Nothing like smoking it. No wonder such a blessed people will call marijuana abonsam tawa. It's only an idiot who will call a blessing abonsam tawa. Bonsam betma tawa. Bonsam betma tawa. Can the devil create anything? In fact, if the devil has created anything at all, it is Nana Akufo-Addo it has created. This is the Black Pot, aka Kukushunum, where we speak truth to power. And I'm so incensed today. My brother, I'm looking at another thing here from the almighty 3news.com, the most authentic source of news online. And it says, borrowing at a commercial rate at this moment is not the best. And this is Kwate telling Akufo-Addo, I don't know who Kwate is, but I will find out who he is. Borrowing at a commercial rate at the moment will not be useful and helpful to the country because of huge interest payments. The director of the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research of the University of Ghana, Professor Peter Kwate, has said, okay, so we know who he is now. He suggested to the government to rather focus on raising revenue domestically by enhancing the tax net and also improving tax collection measures. Peter Kwate cautioned the government to hasten slowly in returning to the international capital market to borrow following the $3 billion program approved by the International Monetary Fund. Speaking to the Ghana Tonight Show on TV3 Wednesday, May 24, Professor Kwate said, it is good to work your way back to ensuring that you are credit worthy. That feeling that your country is credit worthy itself is good, and that attracts investments. But I will caution that we hasten slowly in going back to the capital market because borrowing at a commercial rate is not the best option. The president is gearing up to run back to the capital market to start borrowing. Sometimes I wish I could say some things on radio, but for the sake of decency and for the fact that we are supposed to be responsible adults, in the days when I was 18, I would have said some things. But gray hair has started dancing on my beard and my mustache. It is a sign that very soon we shall return to our Maker and we shall be accountable for the life he loaned us on earth. Hallelujah. Hear me now, brethren. This president is a useless president. I'm telling you. If the devil can create anything at all, then that is this president. Hear me now. I will never understand that it was God who created Nana Akufo-Addo. It must be Lucifer. Because God does not create people who only wreak havoc on the people. May I go deeper? Listen, look how the country struggled to get only 3 billion. And the 3 billion will come in tranches over a period of 3 solid years. Dangote just built a refinery in Lekki, in Lagos, Nigeria. And it cost him 20 billion American dollars. One man. One man. 20 billion American dollars. Dangote built it. We were running like those accursed beggars looking for only 3 billion. Cup in hand. Crying night and day. Begging the German ambassador on our knees to go down to China and beg China. In fact, to give us a little bit of respite. Today, my brother, my sister, the president is gearing up to go onto the capital market again. Now, I speak for the downtrodden. I speak for the ghetto youth who might not understand what the capital market is. Can I break it down? The capital market is that platform where people go to borrow money. That's all I can tell you. So the president, with this money in hand, is happy for 2 reasons. One, Ghana is officially now seen as a credit-worthy country. What does it mean to say credit-worthy? When you borrow, you pay back. But did we really pay back? No, sir. China is hounding us right now, coming over to take over our minerals. Remember Ejapa? Today has become Ejabone. My brother, remember how Sir John, that dirty ghost who is being sodomized by Satan in hell right now. My brother, my sister, how one man was able to control all the forest in Ghana and gave land in forest reserves to his family and friends forever. We all remember how this dirty ghost who is now being sodomized by Lucifer in hell, went to Ramses Heights, usurped the lands there, and shamelessly put that in his will, which he gave out to family and friends forever. Professor Kwabena Boateng said it clearly, that the most dangerous Homo sapiens to our forest was Sir John. Today he's roasting in hell. How many more people will join him in hell? Dirty politicians who do not have any respect for the people they begged to vote for them and give them their power. Mr. President, if I were you, all the Kenke parties would end right now. If I were you, all the borrowing will come to an end. If governance is all about borrowing and spending and going back to the capital market, in fact, there's a madman in my village, Dolin Buzong, who walks around singing songs that he himself doesn't find funny. Could be president. If going to the capital market and borrowing night and day is all that governance is all about, Atai could be the next president of Ghana. If borrowing on the capital market and running around to borrow and running a country on borrowed money, Jesus have mercy. Trust me. Hey, Wyoming could be the next president of this nation. To God be the glory. Today, dirty old men all want to be presidents in this country. All because of one dirty-minded old man who has ruined this country and pulled down the very foundations of this great ancestral home. It hurts my soul. Right now, every old man in Ghana is eyeing the presidency as a retirement benefit. It's a bed of roses of a retirement. Hallelujah. To God be the glory. Well, I am right here inside Ghana Web, and Ghana Web says, I have no problem with Chinese involvement in Ghana's economy. And this is attributed to Nana Akufo-Addo. He says, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has stated that he has no problem with the involvement and participation of the Chinese in Ghana's economy. According to him, China has through the years become a reliable, underline the word reliable, partner that has supported Ghana's economy in very difficult and trying times. He made the remarks following a recent IMF country report that indicated that Ghana would likely lose its mineral resources and electricity revenues to China should the country default in paying a 1.9 billion debt. Speaking during a panel discussion at the Qatar Economic Forum in Doha, President Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo said investments from China have been vital to Ghana's economic growth and development. Well, I don't have any criticisms about Chinese involvement in the Ghanaian economy. They have been very helpful. It's a matter of controversy in the West. For us, they have been friends, underline friends. And in times of difficulty, they have proven to be a strong partner. To God be the glory. To be very honest with you, the president is not utterly wrong. The Chinese are a better friends to us than the Americans. The Chinese are a better friends to us than the British. If we can use the word friend very loosely, China did not drop bombs on us. China did not cause coup d'etats in our country. China did not come into our country to colonize us and to enslave us, but Britain did. America did. They dehumanized us over a period of 400 years. We were chattels to them. I wish I could explain what it means to say chattel. Find it out. Hear me now. We were just commodities in their hands. They could decide when to have sex and when not to. They used us as studs. S-T-U-D-S. They humiliated us. At that time, China was nowhere near. All of a sudden, when we went into democracy, they still destabilized us and caused us to go on our knees. Totally naked. China was nowhere near. Today, China is here. But China is gradually becoming the modern day African colonialist. China is interested in our mineral resources. Even though China is giving us some loans, China has heavy iron hands. Today, China is coming to take the mineral resources, the revenues, and of course the electricity revenues. Is China wrong? No. You borrowed from me. You signed. It's time to pay. What did you use as collateral? Oh, this revenue, that revenue. So if you are not able to pay, please let us respect the contract. Is China wrong? No. We didn't owe America anything. We didn't owe Britain anything. But these dirty countries came down on us and made us slaves. Carried and stole our diamonds and gold. China never stole anything from us. China is only here to enforce the contract. And also, to the letter, they would like to see the contract work. I have no problem with China. The problem I have is with the Lucifer-created president that we have. The president who has no respect for decency and subtlety. Hallelujah. Calm down, Blakk Rasta. Easy. Easy. You know what it means to say subtlety? Subtleness. We don't have. We do not know how to be virtuous. We always go cap in hand, degrading and disrespecting ourselves. Hallelujah. I don't blame China. I blame our weak leaders. I blame our demonic leaders. Oh, to Jesus be the glory. I leave it here. I look at my clock and my shiny Sakura-headed producer is waving at me, telling me it's time, Blakk Rasta. I wish I had another 30 minutes to look deeper into this. In the interim, I want to say I thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. It's been the Black Pot, a.k.a. Kukushunamo, where we speak truth to power. Oh, Jesus. When would we breathe again? For now, we can't breathe. To God be the glory.